Hey everyone, it's Jamie. Happy Thursday. I had to think about that for a second. I just want to get on and talk to you about something. Do you finish what you start? I was listening to something a few days ago, and the guy was talking about how you should always finish. You should always do one thing at a time. If you're not doing one thing at a time, then you're just getting better at multitasking instead of getting better at the specific skill. Like let's say I want to become better at doing math. So if you're doing math and you're talking on the phone and you're walking and you're chewing gum and you're trying to Snapchat all at the same time, you're just getting better at multitasking because you're not getting better at any one of those things because you're doing them all at the same time and your focus is everywhere. And we've been talking a lot this year already about focus, about having laser focus with our goals, right? So that really, I'm like the biggest multitasker ever, right? I've got 5 tabs on my computer going on. I've got 3 projects at home going on. I'm doing projects at work. I'm always multitasking. And that's probably why sometimes I feel like I'm never getting better at anything, which I am. This is a mind program, a game I'm playing with myself. But sometimes I feel like I could be a lot more efficient if I just stayed laser focused, right? If I just focus on one thing at a time. So then he asked the question, do you start or do you finish what you start? And I'm like, yeah, I think for the most part, I always finish what I start. And he said, I start my day and I get out of bed and I make my bed. And I was thinking okay, that's cool. Whatever. Didn't think anything of it. He goes, I finish what I started. And I was like, whoa, you're right. When you go to bed, you open up the covers. That's starting the going to bed process. And then you get in bed and you lay down and you sleep and you have a great night. And then you get up, and how many of us get up and don't make the bed? I know I don't always, especially if I'm getting up before my husband. And so the bed never gets made. And so I'm like, holy cow, every time I don't make the bed, I'm not finishing what I started. And I've never thought of it that way before. So I thought that was really cool. I wanted to share. But then I started thinking, well, how many of us, I can think of my son, I can think of my husband, I can think of myself. How many of us aren't finishing what we're starting? How many of us go into the bathroom and the toothpaste is still out? Well, someone had to get the toothpaste out and brush their teeth, and then they didn't finish what they started because they left the toothpaste out. They did not put it back in the drawer. My son is probably the worst one at this, but we see this all over in our life. So I encourage you and I challenge you to focus on one thing at a time. And in this day and age, with our world going so fast and multitasking being a skill that we're all doing, or many of us are doing, I challenge you to just, what? I'm just going to do one thing at a time. I'm going to really focus on this. I'm going to do it really well and watch your productivity increase. Watch your focus increase. Watch the value of what you're doing, how well you're doing it. Watch that increase. And then notice, how are you feeling about this? Do you feel better because you completed it with a lot better quality and you weren't as stressed throughout the whole project or process trying to do 7 different things at once? Just notice how much better you feel. So that's challenge number 1. The second challenge is even simple things like making your bed and putting the toothpaste away, or this is one I do, okay? I'm terrible at this. I love cooking, but then I don't want to clean up the mess afterwards. So I eat my meal and I'll say, I'm going to handle this tomorrow morning. For some reason, I love getting up in the morning and cleaning the dishes or doing the dishes before I leave. But I'm never finishing what I'm starting. So if you can get the dishes out and if you can get them dirty and if you can make something, then finish what you started and clean them and put them away or put them in the dishwasher. start that puppy up and keep going on with that process. So yeah, I challenge you, and I want to hear how it's going. So feel free to share your thoughts, because that's how we're all going to grow, is if we're sharing our thoughts. Like, do you think this is a cool idea? Awesome. Do you think this is a stupid, or you're not into it? Tell me. I want to hear from you. Yeah, have a great Thursday.